And we are back. And we just finished watching 2023's Totally Killer, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 46 minutes. This comes to us from Amazon/MGM. Mm-hmm. This is directed by Nahnatchka Khan, with writing credits to David Matalon, Sasha Perl-Raver, and Jen D'Angelo. This was delightful.
This was a lot of fun.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you, Blumhouse.
Good.
This was really, really good. This is way better than, what was the thing that they did last Halloween? Bingo Hell?
Oh, Jesus.
That was terrible. Terrible. But this was really, really good.
Were you about to say shite?
Yes, I was. This is the story of Jamie, played by Kiernan Shipka, who at the start of this is typical teenager, frustrated with her mother and doesn't understand why she has to adhere to certain rules because her mother, I guess, lives in constant fear when 35 years prior, 3 members of her friend group were viciously murdered.
Yeah, by some unknown serial killer.
Yes.
Wearing a mask. What the hell was that mask? Was it like Vanilla Ice or?
Maybe.
It had an earring on one side, blonde hair slicked back, and like a big.
It was
smile.
ugly.
I thought it was a ginger.
Are you
No,
serious?
gingers
I
are
thought
red.
it was orange.
No, it was
The
yellow,
hair was
like
yellow.
mustard. That was like bright yellow. What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Maybe a boy band member or something. I don't know what that mask was supposed to be.
The important thing is that the mask is ugly.
Yeah, they were clearly aping like Michael Myers with like a.
Oh, the killer's mask is a mix between Max Headroom and Billy Idol.
Okay.
Looks like Max Headroom without sunglasses and has the same dangling earring Billy Idol was known to wear.
Okay.
Thank you, IMDb Trivia.
There you go.
All right, I'm going to go around the table and get impressions. I'm going to start with you. What'd you think?
I thought this was a lot of fun. This was good. I like a good creative mashup, and this was a good creative mashup, mixing that Back to the Future vibe with a serial killer slasher pick.
Yeah.
They really did it well. I mean, the time machine was goofy. It was kids slapping together something. There's the genius kid who, I'm going to build a time machine for a science fair.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on. This is fiction. This is supposed to have some sort of goofy aspects to it. And I like that they went back to the 80s. I was able to sort of be reminded of what it was like growing up back then, where everybody was just a douchebag.
And this is before PC times.
Absolutely. You just were. I mean, bullying was.
You were a jerk.
Yeah, bullying was kind of rampant, and it was just sort of like
The norm.
suck it up.
Yeah.
You either stand up for yourself, fight back against the bully, or you just suck it up. And that's pretty much how it was. People just said stuff. There was little to no security or verification on anything. Like there
was no verification at all.
Yeah.
She was stunned by the lack of security in the school.
And
it was just like, I know you probably can't tell me where the student is right now, but she's in room 4. Just go ahead.
Just go in.
I'm an exchange student. Okay, fine. Here's your schedule.
Yeah. G, as a child of the 2000s, what did you think of the disparity in the way things used to be in 1987?
I think that it'd be great if I could also go back in time because I want to see what I could get away with.
Get away with a lot.
You probably could get away with a lot.
Probably.
Yeah.
I could spread so much misinformation.
The 87 was a different time.
Very different.
Yeah. As someone who's lived through it. You as well, right?
Yes, I'm only a year younger than you.
No, but I'm just saying, watching this, like I think I turned to you at one point. I'm like, well, they'd certainly got the music down right.
Yeah, they got the music. They got the mannerisms. I mean, the jock constantly grabbing his crotch. That was every insult's usually started with, right here, it's grabbing your crotch. There was like one anachronism I saw. He screamed, "Let's go." That is not an 80s thing.
Yeah.
But other than that, really good. Really well done.
Olive G, what did you think of Jamie and what was her mom's name? Pam.
What do you mean?
Well, what did you think of them? What did you think of Jamie as a character? And then what did you think of Pam as a character?
Like Pam when she's young or Pam when she's an older woman?
Tell me both. Your impressions of young Pam and older Pam.
Young Pam was a bit of a B word, honestly.
Yes, she was a bit of the B word.
She was, she was a lot,
Yeah.
actually. She was rude and absolutely mean.
Yes, she was.
And older Pam was nicer. Cause
Well, she's an adult, right?
Yeah,
she
she's nicer.
doesn't have time to enact. in
the
such
younger Pam
shenanigans.
just does not listen at all. Like Jamie literally told her something and she did it anyway.
Right, that's true. That's true.
It's-
But that's part of being, I think, a young person, right? I think you're at that point where, like I always say, you're not an adult, but you're not a child, and it's tough to maneuver the landscape and constantly being told what to do and how to act and what to wear and all this other stuff. So I think, that totally tracks, right?
Well, when you're that young, it's you know how everything is. It's like, what are you bothering me for? What are you
Right.
hassling me for? Not understanding that, okay, yeah, there's like 30 years of experience that
Right.
they're
The
telling
older-
you, well,
person
maybe
brings,
you
yeah.
should think about this. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know better than you. You want to be when you're that age. You want to be your own person. You want to be. You think you have the handle on being an adult.
In relation to Jamie, what did you think of young Pam, Olive G?
What do you mean?
Like the two of them as people, right?
As a dynamic?
Kind of. Like, what did you think? Okay, so Jamie is a certain way, right? And then she goes through this experience and she sort of changes, and you see that happening. And the same can be said for Pam, right? When the story starts, young Pam is a certain way, right? But then by the end of the story, young Pam has changed a lot. So what did you think? I mean, did you find young Pam more jerky than Jamie? Did you find Jamie more jerky than young Pam?
Honestly, young Pam was worse than Jamie.
Yeah, well, young Pam had the power of the 80s.
Right, behind her.
She
She-
could have all the drugs and all the honking that she wanted.
Well, it wasn't that crazy, but but I mean, like she was completely oblivious that other people had feelings. Basically,
Right.
it was just remember Fat Trish and Lurch, and they had a name for everybody,
Everybody, yeah.
and it was just that was the accepted name that they have christened these people with, that these people would have to live with for the rest of their young careers in high school.
Yeah.
It was no wonder that this group, the Mollies, were targeted.
I'm going to ask you, G, what did you think about Jamie coming into 1987 and sort of like the culture shock of how things operate in 1987?
I think she should have expected it. She kind of she was a little embarrassing because she was treating things like they were 2023 and they're not 2023. It's 1987. And yeah, people are touching you when you don't want to be touched.
Yeah,
They'll
unwanted touching.
They'll say mean things. I mean, they'll probably say slurs too, which people get
Red
bent out
devil.
of shape about. So, oh yeah, and that too. That was normal back then.
That was normal back then. You, being a child of the 2000s, how would you react to seeing something like that?
Like in present day, or if I time traveled.
I guess if you time traveled, and we've talked to you, so you would expect it, but what if you saw it now?
If I saw it now, I'd be like, what the hell?
But if you time traveled,
If I time traveled, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's pretty normal.
yeah,
If people say that to me now, then I would think that's normal.
yeah,
Yeah. People say slurs all the time.
they do. I mean, young people can be kind of
Well,
silly.
when you're a little kid, you honestly don't know any better.
Right.
Little kids are just
Very
completely
cringy.
ignorant.
Yeah. And
that's just
cringy.
it. They have to learn lessons through life.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they learn those lessons and they don't get into their 70s.
Oh my God,
And-
let's not even go
Yeah.
there. Bringing it back. This was absolutely delightful.
Yeah, I had a lot
Absolutely.
of
The story moved really, really well. The writing was sharp. All the performers were really great. Kudos
Good
to Kiernan
jokes.
Shipka. She was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic, fantastic. And Olivia Holt, who plays young Pam, also just really good. It's always nice to see that character kind of arc happen.
Yeah.
And it was satisfying. There was a lot of nods to things from the past, like Back to the Future. They watch RoboCop on VHS or
They have Dune on VHS.
They had Dune and all those movie titles that we loved as young people.
Pam was a closet sci-fi nerd.
Yes, which is pretty funny, considering that she's one of the mean girls.
Yeah.
And nods to popular culture. The group was called the Mollies after Molly Ringwald. They all dressed like some version of Molly
She was
Ringwald.
in the Breakfast Club.
She was the redhead in the Breakfast Club.
And
16 Candles.
Oh, I hate that movie. It carried through 35 years later because Pam dressed as her for Halloween.
When she said that, it reminded me of regular size Rudy dressing as Paul Rudd. I love you, man. It was like, what?
Yeah, because she just looked like she was dressed a little fancier than normal.
What did you think of the violence in the movie?
I mean, it's amazing how resilient bodies in this universe are to stabbing.
Yeah.
The bad guy got stabbed quite a bit.
And just
shrugged it off.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like cuts. It was like
stabs.
puncturing stabs where the knife was like sticking out of his body and he was just like, all right, I got to pull it out of my back now.
Yeah.
He was like a tank, that guy.
Well, I mean, either that or he was hopped up on something.
Maybe. I don't know. I like that they had a lot of little characters around so you could have your suspicions about a lot of them and it wasn't super obvious. Like there were certain points where I was like, okay, it's this guy. But yeah, it wasn't. They would usually like throw something else in there that would make you doubt it.
Sure. And they definitely stuck to, I guess, horror tropes in this.
Yeah. As far as like the blood and gore, it was a lot of stabbing. Nobody got savagely mutilated. Probably the most graphic death in the movie was the guy in RoboCop getting shot by Head 209.
Well, I mean, when the killer comes for the three Mollies,
there's a lot of blood and there's a lot of I'm stabbing you, but I'm saying I'm not. It's not like the old slasher films where there'd be like guts coming out or there wasn't any sort of real effort into those effects. In fact, a lot of the stabbing was clearly CG.
Oh, really?
There was like a part where I think where the last girl gets stabbed.
Okay, I was gonna say don't say the name.
Yeah, when the last girl gets stabbed, there's a part where like the killer is sort of like comes in and he's stabbing her again, and they could have like probably gave that a polish because it was almost like the wounds were moving on her body as he was stabbing her. It wasn't really 100% there.
Oh, interesting. I didn't notice that.
If you're going to nitpick, but you don't have some fun and enjoy the movie. Yeah.
I also enjoyed how my daughters and I on the couch.
Oh, the screaming.
Yes. I totally enjoyed that.
Honestly, in my opinion, the knives that the killers are using kind of look like the fake cheap ones at Halloween costume stores.
Yeah, they kind of
the fake cheap
modeled.
ones are designed to look like those big hunting knives, like Rambo knives or whatever.
Yeah.
They're almost like ridiculous, and they have like a little curvy bit at the top.
And the synth also looks like plastic, like the sharp part of the synth looked like plastic.
The Sith?
Yeah.
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 I
didn't
was
think
just
that was
carrying around a real weapon.
Yeah, I didn't
What
pick that
the
up.
hell was
I
that?
did not pick that up. At all.
Good for her.
Yeah.
She saved them, but good lord, imagine just like
She also had
accidentally
a
turning
gun.
around and
She also
She
swinging
also had a gun. Yeah.
it. Police daughter.
Anything else that anybody wants to add?
Nah, just go watch this movie. It's good.
Yeah, it's really,
I would
really
probably
good.
say there's some language in there that you wouldn't want a little kid emulating.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I think if you're in our generation, you'd totally appreciate this.
Yeah. This is for teens and up.
This is definitely for teens and up. 13, maybe? 13 and up?
Yeah, I mean, it's rated R, but I don't know. I feel like when it comes to like ratings, they usually go a little bit on the side of caution, maybe.
Yeah.
Enveloping groups that probably could watch the movie without any sort of what the hell are they protecting?
I don't know.
people from.
Well, our 11-year-old watched it, and she was fine.
She
So
was fine.
yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go around the table and get impressions. Olive G, I'm gonna start with you. 1 to 10.
I give this like a 7.
7.
I'll give it an 8.
I too would give it an 8.
I too would give it an 8, but I'm wondering if maybe I should give it an 8.5.
That's entirely up to you.
I think I'm going to go up. I'm going to give it an 8.5. I think the costuming on this was stellar. The production values were really, really good. The cast, fantastic. Kudos to the casting agent when they did that with that. What was that show with
Without a Trace?
Without a
I think
Trace? Was it where they sort of did the previous,
old actor
actor and the present day? The casting was pretty decent. I felt like those people could have morphed into future so-and-so. So shout out to the casting director. Shout out to the script writers. Kudos on the new contract. And again, just really fun, really just on point writing. There was never any kind of drag here. The movie, like the script moved really quickly. You got to where you were going. And you had, like you had mentioned before, that added element of, is it this person? Is it that other person? You're kind of thrown things, and I think you're suspecting people, but then things turn on a dime. So, yeah, really, really well done. Just, from top to bottom, really good production. I'm really happy for Prime/MGM. I think this is a worthwhile treat. I'd be curious to see how the success of this is measured, because this is only on the streamer.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know how they measure success on it.
Yeah, it's too bad. Like, this I could totally see being an October movie in the theater. Like, if I was 17, my stupid ass would have been in the theater watching this. Absolutely. Without a doubt. Mm-hmm. Originally, I was going to dedicate a different movie to my friend KT, but I think I want to dedicate this one. This episode of the podcast goes out to my lovely friend at work, KT, and her husband, Wolf. Happy 20th anniversary. May every kiss be like the first. And I hope you guys have a totally killer anniversary. All right. Well, we don't want to spoil it, so we're going to wrap it up. And that's it from us, and we will bid everyone a...
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.